LinkedIn workshop this evening. I know many of you have already had your picture made next door. If some of you are in here would still like to have your picture made this evening, they will be here until after the event, so you can go afterward as well if you would like. It's my pleasure to welcome David McElhaney back to Athens State. He's been very generous in giving up his time and expertise to our students. He's very knowledgeable about LinkedIn. He is the managing partner at Global Recruiters of Huntsville, and we're just one of the many schools that he goes to offer his LinkedIn expertise. So we're very fortunate to have him, and thank you for being here tonight. I'll turn it over to you, and it's all yours.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. I appreciate your commitment to this program, to take 3 hours out of your time to come. You're not planning on staying 3 hours? We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to try to do this in a half an hour. The normal format is to do this in about an hour and 15 minutes and then give some time for questions and answers. However, it doesn't lend itself very well with this product. So I'll ask you to ask your questions when we're in that part, because it's too hard if you, at the end, to go back and try to find where you had questions from. So if you have a question, please stop and raise your hand and ask me to stop, or not paying attention, just yell out, and because I want to make sure I answer the questions while we're in the moment. My name is David McElhaney with Global Recruiters of Huntsville. We're a recruiting firm. We specialize in engineering, IT, business development, sales and marketing folks, but we get a smattering of jobs around the country for various levels of jobs, sometimes in HR, sometimes in manufacturing roles. So we do a lot of different things. So we use LinkedIn as a powerful, powerful tool for recruiting. LinkedIn has really 4 components about it. It's about being found, and that's the most important part. That's what we're going to spend the most of the time tonight talking about. How do you get found on LinkedIn? And that's building a quality profile. Second is finding. So how do you go search for people, companies, and organizations? Third, and aside from building a good profile, how do you network on LinkedIn? We're going to spend a lot of time about that. And then a couple of ancillary things around admin things that we'll talk about as well. So, first of all, how many of you do not have LinkedIn profiles yet? Wow. Okay, so very simply, you go to www.linkedin.com, and they'll ask you to put in your email address and a password, and then hit enter, and they will send you a link confirmation back to your email address. You click on that link, and it'll bring you back into LinkedIn, and you put in your password and your email address, and it will then open up your profile, and you can begin the process. Building your profile is the most critical piece, and so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, I think a lot of you have notes, notebooks, and pads and things, and maybe even a couple of you see with computers. Don't try to keep up with me tonight. There's too much stuff. Okay, so just try to absorb what I'm going to tell you. Sarah Lynn is going to send me your email addresses, and at the end of the class, once I get those email addresses, I'm going to send you an ebook that I wrote that will tell you everything that I'm talking about tonight. So I teach this class once a month in Huntsville, and I've done a number of other places around the state. I've taught over 1,500 people, and the book is, I kind of relate that to I remember my 7th grade algebra class, you know, when you're sitting there trying to watch the teacher do the stuff up there, and you're following along in the book, and it kind of made sense, and you got home and you said, what the? Well, that's what my book will do, so it'll help you do that. The important thing is that you don't try to do this all at once. So I'll get the email addresses from Sarah Lynn probably tomorrow, and I'll send this book out to you. Don't try to do it all this week. Don't try to get a full profile built for the weekend. You want to do this a little bit at a time, because you get search engine optimization credits for doing small upgrades. Okay, and we'll talk about that at some length, because that's an important part of the process. But every time you do an update, if you go in and you change your profile, you build some profile stuff today and save it, you get an upgrade credit or a search engine optimization boost. And tomorrow you do a little more, you get another boost, and so on. So you want to do these in little bites. And so we're going to talk about that tonight as we go through the process, and we'll explain to you how we build that profile. So the first thing you're going to do when you come in is you'll be on your home page, and your home page looks like this when you come on. So there are a couple of different things that goes on here. First of all, there's an update screen here, so you can share updates with your connections. These are news feeds that LinkedIn loads on there for you to read and peruse, and sometimes there's good stuff in there. This is a great place to go pass information on to your friends and colleagues if you'd like to. This is a great way to start building your credibility on LinkedIn. LinkedIn looks at the people that you're adding to your profile, and it shows you a list of people that you may know. And if I show you 3, and if you click on here, you'll get several pages of people that you might know. Now, LinkedIn does that based on the kind of people you've been looking at and connecting with. So, mine changes from time to time. If I'm heavy involved in an accounting role, then what I'll start seeing are finance people popping up here. If I'm working on an electrical engineer role and I'm connecting with a lot of electrical engineers, this list changes over to those electrical engineers. So it adapts to the people you're looking at and the people you're connecting with. Now, this section down here underneath that starts right here are all people that I'm connected with who are making different posts. For example, this is Bill Connors. He's one of the other GRN offices. He just posted this job that he's got, that he's working on there. And so all these are feeds from people that I'm connected with. Here you can see where I've recently visited. So if you go to a website, like I was on our website today, or excuse me, our company page, you see that, and then the various people that I recently visited. You can see here are people who have viewed your profile, and you can see who people have viewed your updates. And then down below here, you can see this number here. I have 3,838 connections. How about that? And that's how many people that I have in my direct line connection. What's important is this number right here. See this number 16 million? I want you to put in the back of your mind, and this may be something you want to write down. Your target is 5 million. Okay? 5 million. That's what you want to reach. So this number right here is the important number. Forget about the top number. This number here in your professional network. What that is everybody that I'm directly connected to, which is they call the number 1 connection, plus all my number 2 connections, plus all my number 3 connections. And so it's a pyramid. So all my number 1s are direct connects of mine, all my 2s are direct connects of my 1s, and all my 3s are direct connects of my 2s or direct connects of my 1s. Follow all that? So it's a pyramid. Okay? So that pyramid in my section is 16.5 million. 5 million is your target. That's what you want to try to reach as fast as you can. Because when you reach 5 million, there's a block in the LinkedIn algorithm that doesn't allow your profile to be fully shown in the network until you reach that 5 million threshold. Okay, so that's what you want to do. How do I get to 5 million? That's a lot of people. Well, here's the best way to do that. You want to go out to when you're starting to connect with people, you want to go and you want to look for people whose profile says 500 plus. Okay? So, as an example, if you connect with me, you will automatically get 3,800 people in your downline. Okay? So that's how you build that 5 million fast. So when you go out there to look for people that have this 500 plus connections. LinkedIn doesn't post how many connections we have. As you're growing up to 500, the number will show there. When you get above 500, it shows 500 plus, because LinkedIn didn't want this to be a contest. They don't want this to, my engine's bigger than yours kind of thing. So they only show that 500 plus. But that's your key, that may be somebody you want to connect with. And we'll talk about that in a minute. That's how you get to that connection. That's how you get to that 5 million threshold that you want to get to as quickly as you can. So let's go back over to the home page. So what you do with this update share, and you want to send a little note out. So you can do a couple things. If you just click on this button, share, it goes out to my public people. Okay, so that's everybody in my direct connections, plus everybody in my groups. Okay, so if I don't want to go to those people, I can click on this double arrow here and I get choices. So if I want to just send it just to my connections, I can click on that. Well, look at this. I can also send it to my Twitter account. So, and of course, as you know, in Twitter you have to be 140 words or less, so we're well within that. And so simply by doing that, now it's going out to my public, which again are all my connections, plus all my groups, and all my Twitter accounts. So you hit this button, and that message just went out. And as you see it right here, it just showed up down here. So this message now went out to all my 3,800 people, as well as all the people in the groups I'm in, as well as to all my Twitter followers. So that's a great way for you to communicate broadly with people and get exposure out into the network community of LinkedIn. You need to do this a couple of times a week. You need to post something. Okay, now, this is not like Facebook where you tell everybody that you're at the hairdresser, or you're at the restaurant, or at the grocery store, that kind of nonsense. This should be real stuff that you're doing, okay? It could be something about something you learned in class, something that you were involved with here at school, a meeting that you attended, anything like that. It could be a rebroadcast of some of these articles up here. It can simply be a matter of coming down to some of these other posts and commenting on them. And like LinkedIn, like Facebook, LinkedIn has a like button, so all you have to do really is just click on the like button. Now you can come down here and you can add comments as well, but you don't necessarily have to add comments. You can just come down through here and see things that you like, and you just click on those, and you start getting noticed by people out there and people wanting to connect with you. So this is about activity, and that's what this first sheet is about, to show you some of the things that are going on the first page. Okay, so let's talk about profile. We'll come over here to the edit profile. So all you do is you come up to the top and you mouse over profile button. If you click on the profile itself, it takes you into that profile, which is where we started the class from. And then if you want to edit, then you come down here once more and click on the edit profile, and it takes you into the edit mode. You can tell you're in the edit mode because these little blue pens and blue cameras and things show up. And so this is where you can edit your profile and start building your content. So let's talk about this content and what we're going to build. First thing we'll talk about is, obviously you need to have your name up here. Name is pretty simple, but you also have to make sure that you don't use pseudonyms, because they're kind of particular about that. My name is David, and there's always a lot of Davids around. McElhaney is a real mouthful, so people call me Mac. So for a while I had Mac in parentheses in the middle of my name. Well, LinkedIn pinged me on that because they're not allowed to use pseudonyms. So you have to kind of be a little careful about that. So anyway, you want to put your name up there, and then you want to put what you are or what you do. Now, this is an interesting topic, and various people tell you different things about what should go there. Sometimes you put titles in, sometimes you put statements in there, or something to compel people to look at different profiles. So one of my main target audiences is the Huntsville, Alabama area, and when you in LinkedIn, they look at that as the kind of the North Alabama sector, and so that's why I have Huntsville, Alabama there first. And then instead of just having my title, I have recruiting top talent, global recruiters of Huntsville. So there are a couple things going on here. I want to catch people's attention. If you're looking for a job, you say, oh, this guy recruits top talent. Maybe I better hook up with him. Or a company says, oh, this guy's got his pulse on, his fingers on the pulse of the recruiting in this area. Maybe I need to connect with them. But from a LinkedIn profile piece, I've got things in here that are keywords. Huntsville, Alabama is a keyword. Recruiting is a keyword. Top talent, recruiters. Those are keywords. I've got those in my title because they increase my search capability when people are looking for those kind of keywords. Okay, so think about what that should be. What I tell people in transition, as they often try to use up here on LinkedIn, don't tell people you're looking for a job. Tell people what you do, or tell people what you can bring to them. Don't say, I'm looking for a new opportunity, I'm looking for a new job. Tell me what that new opportunity is. Tell me what you're looking to be, looking to do, or put a compelling statement up there so that I want to read the rest of your profile. So that's what you're trying to get at here. It doesn't have to be a title there. The next thing you see is I've got my phone number up here and my email address. Now, why in the world do I have that up there in my title bar? I have that in my title bar because if you land on my page, you're looking for a recruiter, and you happen to pull my profile up and see that I'm with Global Recruiters of Huntsville, I don't want you to be able to pick up the phone and call me today. I don't want you to have to wait for me to be connected, okay? or send me an email, so I have that information up there. Ladies, I always remind you that this is a public network. There are stalkers everywhere in the world, so you have to be a little bit careful about that. You should probably put an email address up there that is perhaps disposable. Okay, you get email addresses here through the college. You can get free email addresses at Google, at Gmail, a lot of different operations that offer you free email addresses. I suggest you get one of those and use that rather than a permanent email address that you have. So again, you have to be a little bit careful about that stuff. But the whole point of that is so that somebody on my profile, or looking at somebody else's profile, when I go looking for candidates and I find the ideal candidate, it's just frustrating sometimes that I can't reach out and touch them immediately. I'd like to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey Bill, I got a great opportunity for you. I'm looking at your profile right now, you look like you'd be a good fit. But because there's no phone number on there, I have to try to connect with you first in order to do that. If you have your phone number or contact information up there, it makes it a whole lot easier. The most important thing in this first part of this presentation is my picture. Not my picture, but a picture. You must have a picture on your LinkedIn profile. You are 40 times more likely to be viewed simply by having a picture on there. Forget about content. If you have your picture up there, you're 40 times more likely to be looking at your profile. So you must put a picture on LinkedIn. This is the social media. We like to see people, see who we're dealing with. Now, I've got grown kids, I've got 5 grandkids, and I love my family, but I don't want to see a picture of your kids. I don't want to see your cat. I don't want to see your summer vacation. I want to see a business picture, okay? So we're doing pictures across the hall. You can go there and get your picture made tonight while you're here. But you want a business picture, okay? So dress up a little bit. Put a nice coat on, nice jacket on, nice blouse on. Look good in this and smile, okay? Again, it's a public meeting. I see all these military guys and it's like, you know, come on guys. This is a public media. Let's smile. Let's act like you want to be liked out there. So put a picture up there. Now, one thing that I've done is I went to gosh, I think I went to Kmart. I went to Walgreens. They have digital passport photographs you can get made there. That's what this is, the digital passport picture. And I sent that to my email address, and I saved it on my computer. And then I went in and changed the pixel size, made it a little bigger, and saved it again. Made it a little bigger and saved it again. I have 6 of those, okay? Why in the world do I have 6 pictures? Because one of the things that you're going to do when you get your profile built, I mentioned earlier that as you build little segments of your profile, you get these upgrade credits. But when you get your profile built, guess what? You don't get any more upgrade credits unless you change your profile. Well, the easiest way to change your profile is to change your picture. So about 3 times a week, I go in and I click on one of those other pictures and I move it to LinkedIn. I get an upgrade credit for it. You don't see anything differently because LinkedIn has a profile of what size the picture has to be, so it remains the same on my profile, but I get those upgrade credits along the way. So that's an easy way to do those upgrades. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. So you put those things in there, and then of course, as you see, it's got the different jobs and activities I've done. Huntsville, Alabama. Staffing and recruiting, it'll ask you for what kind of job you do, and there are limitations in that. You have to choose the best one, and unfortunately, with a lot of programs that add these lists, they're not always exact. And I don't do staffing, but there isn't just one for recruiting, so that's the closest one I could select, so you have to do that as well. The next thing you can do is edit your addresses. There's a couple of different addresses. On your profile, your address looks similar to this, LinkedIn, and then it's got your name, and then it's got a series of numbers. But you can actually edit that. Okay, and so you see I put recruiter in there. As again, repetition of keywords is critical when people are searching for you. So that's one of the things we'll talk about, is how to build keywords for your search. So that's one of the ways that you can add a keyword that makes you searchable. Now the next thing that's important over here is to edit your contact information. So if you come over here and you mouse over that edit contact information, it turns into a link, and you click on that, it takes you down into this section here. Okay, so you can put your email address in here. If you have an instant message system, you can put that in there. Again, you can have a phone number in here, you can have an address in here. If you've got a Twitter page, this is where you load your Twitter account, and then there are a series of websites for different jobs. LinkedIn actually gives you 3. I realize that most of you aren't in companies, but when you get to a job, this gives you the ability to load various pages in here for your profile. And LinkedIn gives you 3 for a specific reason. There's actually, again, a block in an algorithm. If you use all 3 of those, you get greater exposure from the algorithm. So that's something that you will want to think about later on as you go into the process. So that's the most important part. This is the most important segment that you want to get started. Get the body of that page. I talk to folks as this is like the headlines on the newspaper. Okay, newspaper lands in your driveway, you open it up, and boom, there's the headlines. That's what this is. That's what this whole section is up here. That's your headlines. That's what you want to catch people's attention with a statement or some compelling reason for me to try to reach out to you, and then have contact information. The next part that's important as you move down into, or if you will, below the fold of the newspaper, is what your summary page says. Everybody know what a elevator speech is? Anybody not know what an elevator speech is? Okay, so this is an elevator speech, except instead of going to the 1st or 2nd floor with me, we're going to the 9th floor. Okay, so you've got a little bit more time. You can be a little bit more verbose about your elevator speech. So my elevator speech contains 2 pieces because I'm trying to reach hiring managers. So I've got information about hiring managers finding top talent. My second target is candidates. Do you need to get connected with the right opportunity? And then I've got some information about my company and what we do and how to reach me. Okay, so you'll notice this throughout my profile. I've got phone numbers and email addresses all the way through my profile, so that whatever section you're on, if that's what catches your attention, I want you to be able to pick up the phone and call me right now. So think about that same contact information you put up in your heading, adding that down in your content, so that that's what somebody reads that says, I'd like to talk to this person. They can get a hold of you right away. The next thing that I've added in here is I added a section, I simply call it specialties. You can call it whatever you want. This is really important. This is, excuse me, this is a series of keywords. So when you think about how would people search for you or your organization or what you're doing, and sit down, and what I recommend is you take a piece of paper and just make this list of all the keywords you can think of, how somebody would look for you. Okay, so as an example, recruiter, headhunter, job search consultant, sales recruiter, IT recruiter, information technology recruiter, human resources recruiter, CEO recruiter, president recruiter, manufacturing, operations, finance, any kind of keyword that you can think about, how people would find you, and build those at the bottom of your summary section. Okay? Because again, every time you use those keywords, the more you repeat those keywords throughout your profile, the more times that's going to come up in a search, the higher you're going to be in that search window. So you want to build that and put that information in there. The next thing we talk about is our basic information. Now, we've got this information in there in my summary, and now we're going to talk about experience. LinkedIn likes to see 5 pieces of experience. And you're thinking, I'm still in school. How am I going to get 5 pieces of experience? Well, you can do that from a number of ways. You can do it from any organizations that you belong to, groups, clubs that you belong to, or at school, if you're in a fraternity or a sorority, put that information in there. You could go volunteer at the chamber and put that kind of information in there, anything like that. So you want to need at least 5 entries into this section, because that builds depth in your profile, and people start seeing activities and see things that are going on with your profile. Now, one thing to keep in mind, your LinkedIn profile should not be a mirror of your resume. Okay, so don't go capture the pieces out of your resume and copy and paste it into here. You don't want to do that, because when people start looking at your profile for job interests and they see that information in there and they say, hey, send me your resume, you send your resume and it's a duplicate of your LinkedIn profile, and they're like, oh, I read this already. Okay, so don't do that. Don't make it the same. Okay, so you want to write it differently. First of all, on your resume, you need to be clear and concise. In here, you can be a little bit more extemporaneous, if you will, about the stuff you put in there, and a little more flowery about what you're putting in there. So keep that different. When I get to this point, it always reminds me to tell you that there's no spell check in your LinkedIn profile. Okay, this is really important because we're all used to the little red line under our misspelled words, and we're all in a hurry and we just go. Okay, oh no, this is something really important to be really careful about. No, you'll still do it. Okay, I did it. I got a call from a guy a couple of months ago and he says, "Hey Mac, you're busted." I said, "What's that?" He says, "You misspelled recruiters in your title." And I said, "Bill," I said, "it's been 28 days since I posted it up there and you're the first person to notice it. I just can't believe that nobody noticed that before." Which was nonsense. I misspelled recruiters. Can you believe that? I'm a recruiter. I misspelled recruiter because I got in a hurry and I misspelled recruiter. It happens, folks. So do all this in Word Perfect, and spell check it and grammar check it, and have your friend look at it, have your dad look at it, and have somebody that you hate look at it, so you get a true representation of what you want posted up there, and then paste it in there for your use. Okay, so you want to put some information up there about what you're doing, experience and things you're doing. And again, there's an edit button here, so you can click on that. To start with this, all you do is click on this add button. So you come over here and you click on this add a position button, and it opens up this little window. And so what you do is you type in the name of the company or the organization, club, whatever, and more than likely you're just going to be a member, or maybe you're the vice president of the chess club or whatever, and your location would be, you know, Athens. And then choose time period. Okay, so you choose the month, whatever month you started an organization, and if you currently work here, you click on that, and then you don't have to have a closing date, but it'll ask you for a year. So, gosh, I started in this last year, and so then I can come down here and I can type in a description of the organization and have that in there, and then I can come down here and I can click on save. I'm not going to. And click on save, and it'll be added into my section. Okay, so it'll be along here in this section. Now, these are all date related, so depending on when you put that date in, will determine where it lands in this list. As I scroll down here, you'll see I've got a lot of things posted in here. Okay, so that start date will determine where that section lands. So the stuff that you did first, like Global Recruiters in Huntsville, was the first thing I did when I moved to Huntsville. And when I started learning all this other stuff, joined the chamber, joined the AUSA, all the other organizations, I did after that. To my dismay, when I put all this stuff in there, my Global Recruiters went all the way to the bottom because it was my oldest entry, because I put the newest thing at the top. So I was like, oh, that won't work. I want my Global Recruiters at the top. So what I figured out is if you fudge the dates on there, you can move them wherever you want. So I had this HR lady in the back of the room in one of my classes, and she was about to have a stroke. She was raising her hand at this point, and I said, "What?" She said, "You can't do that." I said, "I can't do what?" She said, "You can't tell people to fudge the dates. We use this to verify employment activities." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Just relax, because none of this is resume-related stuff. These are clubs and organizations and things. You know, the only thing that's resume-related might be your first job that's on there. So you don't have to worry about that." Well, LinkedIn fixed that for us. So LinkedIn added this little double arrow. See this little double arrow here? When you mouse over it, it turns into a 4-pointed arrow. I'm going to go down here because I don't want to screw with that. But you take this 4-pointed arrow and hold it, click it, and drag it, and I can move it wherever I want and let it go and reorganize it. Okay, so now you don't have to fudge the dates. You can put them in there in real time, and then you can go in by grabbing that little double arrow and move the stuff where you want it. So something that if you're getting a job in France, and you wanted to bring up, you know, about you being the president of the French club here, you click and drag that back up. And then, you know, you decide, well, I'm going to go to Germany instead, so you bring up your Germany club next. So it's kind of cool because you can move that stuff. Because people see the stuff first. It's, again, like the newspaper. Headlines, boom. Then you go down, you read below the fold, and then you go to page 12. Well, so you want to keep that active stuff at the top of your profile. So that's kind of neat for that. One of the other things LinkedIn did was they added the ability to add videos to your profile. So that's what these little boxes are right here, this little box. If you click on this, you can add a video clip. Okay, so you can go out, as an example, this was a piece that I did on WHT, on taking action, getting jobs. And so what I did is I went to WHT and I got the video, and I loaded it up on YouTube. And when you load a profile, a video up on YouTube, it gives you the URL. And so you copy that, and then you come down here, and when you click on this button and open that panel up, it tells you to paste your URL. So you paste that YouTube URL and save it in there. And so now that's what that is. That's that video piece from WHT. So that's a really cool way you can put video in there. So you're looking and saying, yeah, well, I don't have the ability to go down to WHT and do a news broadcast. Well, if you've got a smartphone, you can do the same thing. Okay, you can make a video on here. That's what this is. This is a video that I made on my smartphone. Did the same thing, loaded it up on YouTube, captured the URL and pasted it down there. And if you click on this, it plays a little video that says, hey, I'm David McElhaney with Global Recruiters of Huntsville. We specialize in recruiting, engineering, and IT and business development folks. What I want to talk to you today is about the instructional videos that we do as well. We teach LinkedIn classes, we teach resume building classes, we teach interviewing skills, yada, yada, yada. That's what that video is. You can do the same thing. What a great way to allow people to see a glimpse of your personality. Hi, I'm David McElhaney of Global Recruiters of Huntsville. We're recruiters, we specialize in engineering and IT business development. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you with your business endeavors. Something like that, just quick and easy. A little brief, 1 minute. Don't get crazy with this. Just a short little brief. You want to give them a glimpse of your personality. You want to show your whole personality. So a little glimpse. What a great way for you to get exposed to somebody looking to hire you in a role. And guess what, guys? YouTube is the second largest search engine in the free world, and you just got a connection with them for free. This is a powerful, powerful tool, so you want to think about using this. Have somebody help you. It's a lot easier if you have somebody can hold the camera still for you, or if you have a camera with a tripod mount, or you get a clamp for it and hold your camera still. All those things make a difference. But it's real easy to put those YouTube videos up there. And again, what a powerful connection having a YouTube video linked to your profile. So what I've done in my profile is I've got various things along through here. Managing partner of Global Recruiters of Huntsville. The name of our corporation is actually Normac Resources. I've got a little piece in there. I already talked about this in my public speaking piece. Introduction to LinkedIn classes, interviewing techniques, and so on. I'm a board member for COGIT. I'm a board member for Smile for Troops. I manage a number of LinkedIn groups. See, it doesn't have to be things that you're doing, jobs that you've got, but it's just things that you're involved in. Embassy with the Chamber, corporate member for AUSA, OSBO membership, all those things are important because it shows the depth of your activities. It shows your involvement in the community. So you want to post all that stuff in there because people like to see how you're involved, what you're involved with, how you're doing, how active you are. This is really important for y'all as you're building content, you're building experience, to put that kind of information in there, clubs and organizations you belong to. Now, you'll notice when I get down to this health system, this was my last double arrow. See, there's no arrow here. Now we're into resume stuff, okay? So this is resume stuff. So we want to make sure this information is absolutely correct, because people are going to go here and look at this to double check to make sure that you're saying what you're saying on your resume. And again, this shouldn't be verbatim what you see on your resume, but it should be a synopsis of what you're doing. And again, you can be a little more verbose in here when you're talking about what you've done in the past. So people often ask when I get here, is because they see a lot of content here, so how much should I put in here? How far back? You know, we talk about resume building, that you want to keep your resume to within a 10-year span, particularly if you're in a high-tech environment. Over the 10 years, who cares? Okay? So people ask me, how far do you go back in this? I said, well, you'll notice that I've got stuff back here. I was a deputy sheriff in 1974 to 1981. I was a firefighter from 1973 to 1976. Yeah, I know, I'm old. So when I have this stuff in there, what difference does it make? And the truth of the matter is it doesn't, but you never know where a contact's going to come from. Okay, real life story. I didn't used to have these two on here, but I thought, what the heck, let me put it up there. Well, I got connected with a bunch of my old firefighter buddies. It was kind of cool. You know, we got to have a little online reunion. One of the guys I was talking to, he says, hey, I see you're a recruiter. Do you do IT? And I said, yeah, it's one of the biggest areas we do. He said, my granddaughter is a .NET developer, and she hates her job. Do you think you could help her get a new job? And the answer is yes. I put her in a new position. So I made money off my firefighter buddy. In 1973, are you kidding me? So I will tell you, unless you're doing something illegal or nefarious, put it in there, okay? Because you never know where the connection come from. Your college information is further down, but I've made lots of connections. I went to Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida, and I made hundreds of connections through the Alumni Association. So you want to have your schools in there. When you get out of here, when you go to any technical schools or anything like that, if you end up in the military, all your technical schools are in the military, you never know where connections are coming from. So put it all in there. Build content. All that stuff matters. So build content. If you have any publications that you get involved with, you can put those in there. I've written a couple of LinkedIn guides, so I've got that information in there. Volunteer experience. Don't just put this stuff down here. If you're involved in any of these organizations, volunteer experiences, and you've got activity down here, put it up top as well. Put it in both places. So, say I'm the corporate secretary for Smile for Troops. Well, you notice that I also had that posted up above. So put the content up there, but then also put it down here in your volunteer experience as well. And then you come down here to skills. You get to select the skills that you want to list here. This is kind of an important area, but it's an area that people, I bet I get more calls about this section than anything else. Because once you put these skills up there, so you're going to select the kind of skills that you think are important. So you can do 50 of them. So I got recruiters, interviews, executive search, training, management. You can see all the list here. And if you click on the edit button, you'll see the big list. They only put the top ones up there where you get the most hits from. You know what? Most of these people don't even know me. They've endorsed me. And people ask me all the time, can I please turn off that endorsement? And the answer is no, you can't. When you get those endorsements from people, just smile in the back of your mind and say, thanks a lot, because you know what? They just made a link with you and it just boosted your search engine optimization in LinkedIn. So just smile and say, gosh, I don't even know you, but thanks a lot. Okay? And when you endorse other people, you also get that link boost. So don't be afraid to endorse people. It doesn't really mean anything other than it's going to end up on this list and it's going to start going. And when you get like the other section, it only shows you 99. I've probably got 4,000 or 5,000 under recruiting right there. It doesn't matter. It means nothing to anybody to speak of, but it does matter from that LinkedIn capability of driving your profile. Okay, so pick these top skills that you think are usable for you. You can again click on the edit button. You can go down. You can put up to 50 in there. You can change them around if you want to edit, take some out, put some in. You can do that. Same with things you know about. So you can change those things as well. Then here's where your college information goes. And again, you can add a video in here if you wanted to about the school. You can have all your basic information. Now, there used to be a section down here called interest. I don't believe this is here anymore, but this is the same list of keywords that I had up at the top. And then personal data. Now, you want to be careful here. They actually do allow you to put your whole birth date in here. Please don't do that. That's one of the elements people need to steal your identity is your whole birth date. So just be a little bit careful about that. And then you can do recommendations, connections, and groups, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Any questions about building your profile? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you, at the beginning, when you were talking about what you would write underneath your name, the different types of things, will you talk a little bit about what a student might put there, or some ideas? I know you have some students that are doing internships and things like that. That would be a good thing like an accounting intern at so-and-so, some other ideas.
Yeah, anytime you're doing an internship, that's a great thing to post several places. You would want to post it up here, that that's what you're doing, but you also want to build that into your experience section. So that you want to have that in 2 different places. You have to kind of play with this and experiment with it. Sometimes different things attract different attention. And so what I recommend people do is that you figure out some topic of what you want to do. Okay, let's say you're doing an intern right now in finance. So you're going to post that information in there. So then you might want to put a job title in there, or a question about that. Do you need a top-notch accountant within your organization? Doesn't have to be a title, can be a question, can be something to catch somebody's attention. Okay, so kind of think out of the box on that. What I really don't like to see is looking for a new job, new opportunity in transitioning to those. Stay away from those. So the old adage, your parents probably told you it's easier to get a job when you got a job. Well, it is, folks, and you'll find that out. It's always better that you put a title or a question up there rather than I'm looking for a job, please help, because that's what it sounds like. Okay, so that's kind of things you want to avoid. Someone else had a question up there?
I did. I noticed on your profile, and I've noticed this on a lot lately, you've got a premium account.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned is that gives you you can choose a different background, kind of sets you apart. Is there value in that? Is that something, there's also different cost levels?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to be doing the business one that's $50 a month, but would you recommend that? And how is it beneficial?
Yeah, I pay $1,000 a month.
Oh.
But I can see everybody in LinkedIn. I can see the entire world network. Now, that's important for my business. It's not for anybody in this room, okay? You can spend $20 a month, $40 a month, $100 a month, I think, are the segments, and you get various levels of activity by doing those, okay? So in your basic system, you can see, I think, 300 deep. That's more than enough for y'all. I mean, I don't really recommend that anybody ever buy classes I teach, not just the students, but everywhere I teach. I don't recommend anybody buy a profile, an upgrade, unless you're doing my kind of business. The second level, I think you get 700 deep. And, that's a lot of people to look at. Okay, so I just don't see it of value to anybody unless you're in my line of work. Or you're an HR in a company. You get these things called in-mails. They're free connections, if you will. And they're not free because you pay for them, but you get 10 or 20 or 30 of those. So those are various segments. Now, if you want to try it, you can do that. Go in, we'll show you in the section how do you get into the admin section, and you can go in and look at the upgrades. Be careful when you do that, because they have 2 upgrades. They have a monthly upgrade and an annual upgrade, and the annual is defaulted. Okay, so be careful with that. Don't go crazy. People have a tendency to whip through stuff, okay? Take your time and make sure you click on the monthly, because if you click on the monthly, you're going to opt out next month. So you can try it for a month. But if you click on the year, then you can opt out next year. Okay, so be a little bit careful with that. Somebody else? Yes, ma'am.
When you attend as a student organization conferences, do you put that in your experience?
Absolutely.
You attended that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right now, you're trying to build content, and you need, like I said, a minimum of 5. So you're going to want to use stuff like that. And if you start getting more experience, then that stuff will be pushed down. You can always leave it in there, but it's of lesser importance later on. But now, yes, it's important so you get to those 5 levels.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go back down to skills, and what was the thing about those skills? It may just be me, but I haven't been on mine in a long time, because I tried to set it up like a year ago or longer, and I got really frustrated trying to add what I wanted to add and get rid of what I wanted to get rid of, and I just got so frustrated with it, and I ain't for the.
Well, if it's been a year, you'll find it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
LinkedIn does a great job of changing and updating And they've made a lot of things a lot easier for you to edit. It used to be a real pain to edit. Now they've added the little blue pens and things when you're in the edit mode. The important thing for you to remember is that you want to go up here and mouse over your profile, make sure you're in the edit mode, and it makes it a lot easier. And one point is good that LinkedIn does all these massive updates all the time. Bad news for me is I have to keep updating my book because they make a lot of changes, but they've made it a lot easier now to be able to go in and do those sort of things.
Is there somewhere that you can strictly upload your resume to? Or do you have to break it down for each section?
Well, you want to broke it down so that you have content. And then, yes, you can use a couple of different programs. SlideShare is the one that I recommend. It makes it easiest to add your resume, to load your resume into there. And it's in my book, so you'll be able to see that piece of how to do it. Yes, ma'am.
I have another question, I'm sorry. As I was looking at your experience, I noticed that in different parts of your experience, you repeat a couple of sentences at the very bottom. Each section of the work experience. Yeah, like now I am an executive, so you recommend us to do that, I mean, for personal kind of like little elevator speech or?
Right, exactly. See, like here, my firefighter, that's how my friend said, hey, I see you're a recruiter now.
Okay.
So do you do IT? And that's how that question was developed. So yeah, every section you'll see that I've got that in here, that I'm now a recruiter with Global Recruiters Huntsville. I'm now a recruiter.
So for every work experience that you had that is not really related with what you're doing right now, that's what you add at the bottom?
Right.
Okay.
So if somebody just happens to be looking at my profile and say, oh, I remember this guy. He used to call me when he was vice president. Oh, he's a recruiter now. Oh, maybe he can help me find a new job. Again, you just never know where. So I've got this throughout, as you can see, throughout my whole profile. So whatever caught your attention on my profile, I want you to be able to connect with me immediately. So that's why I have that information in there. Okay, let's switch over and talk about finding. So LinkedIn put this really neat little search bar up here at the top. So you can just type in anything you want. So if it's a simple name, you're going to have difficulty because you're going to get a lot of them. Now, David McElhaney is a very unusual name, but there's 25 of us in LinkedIn. So imagine if we didn't have pictures, you wouldn't know, you might not know which one is me. And you might get confused that looks like me, but gosh, that kind of looks like me too. Because I have two profiles, I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But even an unusual name like David McElhaney, there's 25 of us. Imagine if you typed in a common name like Bob Jones. Imagine how many Bob Jones you're going to get. You're going to get everybody that went to Bob Jones High School, everybody went to Bob Jones University, and everybody's name is Bob Jones, and Roberta Jones, and Robert Jones, and Bobby Jones, and everybody that worked at Bob Jones Automotive, and you can imagine the list. So I don't recommend you use this window. They make it real easy to use this advanced search. So all you do is come over here and mouse over this advanced button and click on it, and it opens up this really big search window. Okay, so you can do all kinds of different things. Now, there's a keyword section here, and so keywords are really important for you when you're looking to find people or companies. The names are easy, so if you know somebody's name, that's real easy to go search. But if you're looking for content, you're looking for a job, as an example. You want to be able to use words that make sense for your search. So there's this thing called a Boolean search. Everybody know what a Boolean search is? It's a string of words that you put together to find things. So, for instance, most of the time we use quotations for specific words. So, electrical engineer, and then use big space and capital, and biomedics, and whatever. So those string of words together helps us do searches. Just remember that when you use ands, you make your list smaller. When you use ors, you make your list bigger. So I'm looking for an electrical engineer and a mechanical engineer. I'm looking for somebody with both those skills. So my list is going to be smaller. If I'm looking for electrical engineers or mechanical engineers, my list is going to be big because I'll take either one. So that's what you use this keyword search for, to string words together. And that makes it really easy for you to do that search pattern. But sometimes you may not know keywords, you may not know exactly what you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for a job. Let's say you're looking for a quality engineer. And let's just do that search. It's going to be a big search. 173,000 people. Okay, so that won't work. Well, whenever you're looking for a job, you're obviously looking for it in a specific area, but at Huntsville or Denver, Colorado, or Orlando, Florida. So all you have to do is come down here and type in a postal code. Now, if you don't know postal code, you can just click on this lookup button. It'll open up a panel and let you type in the name. But we know 35801 is downtown Huntsville. And you get some search parameters here. So you can go look. So, I don't know why it's not opening up. Let's click the search button. Okay, so that brought it down to 671. So what you want to do is go look at your zip code where you live. Okay, so if you're in Orlando, 32817, you're going to get a different list. No results? That's not possible. 32817. Wow. Well, we'll forget about that. Okay, so we got this search 35801. Okay, so now we've got 670 people. Maybe you know the company that you want to look at. Maybe you're looking for a quality engineer at SAIC in the Huntsville area. And so you click on that, and now this list drops down to 40 people. Okay, so now we're starting to get down to a more manageable level. So you say, okay, so what do we got going on here? Well, here's some real good examples. First of all, Chet and I are first connection, see? Well, Emmett and I are second connection. So it may be that Chet and him are connected together, and that's how I'm connected. And Michael is my third connection, so it may be that Michael's connected to Emmett, who's connected to Chet. That may be how that string works. So you can see that contact information. So and you'll notice out here that because I'm a first connection with Chet, I can send him a message. Doesn't cost him anything. But these guys, I'm not connected with, so you see that it's asking me to connect. Okay? Because I'm a third connection with him, I don't get a connect button, I get a send an in-mail message. So it's really easy when you're out here looking at this stuff to just go over and hit these connect buttons, and you're probably accustomed to doing that. If you've been connecting with people like that, please don't ever do that again. When you do that, it sends that automated message to them, hey, I'd like to add you to my LinkedIn profile. And people don't like that. People are ignoring that, and people are reporting you as spam for doing that stuff. So don't do that ever again, because what you want to do is you want to share the love with these people that you're trying to connect with. But remember, you're trying to connect with these people with 500 plus. So tell them why you want to be connected. Okay? Go look at their profile and say, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to say a little something about the person? So here's old James, quality engineer at SAIC. So instead of hitting this connect button, what I want you to do is open his profile and look at his profile. And so you can see what's going on there. Ignore that View Recruiter. That's that other special program I've got that takes me in there, so I can see a lot more information than you can see up here. But you can see that he's not got a lot of content in here, does he? He's this guy needs to come to a class, doesn't he? Wow. Senior engineer at SAIC. Well, there's not much else in there. Okay, it's going to be hard to share the love with this guy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and click on this connect button. Now, this is dramatically different than your other connect button. When you connect it, it opens up this panel and says, how do you know James? Okay? Because remember, LinkedIn wants you to connect with people you know and trust. Okay? So if you click on I don't know James, it's not going to let you connect with him. If you connect on other or friend, it's going to say, okay, if he's your friend, what's his email address? I know his email address. I'm trying to get a connection with him. So I can find out what his email address is. So I can't use those. Now there's a button that's missing up here, and that's a group button. Okay? Whenever you open one of these profiles and the group button is there, that means that you're in a group with that person. And that's how you want to connect with them. We're going to talk about groups in a minute, but when you've got a group connection with somebody, you've got the secret handshake for that person. Okay? So if the group button shows up there, you always use the group button. Because, again, you're inside that group. We'll talk about that further in a minute. but I'm not in a group with him. So I'm gonna go up here and click on colleague. When I do that, I click on this drop-down panel. When I click on this drop-down panel, does that list look familiar to anybody? That's all the stuff that I've got up in my profile, okay? All the things I do. So now I can go down through here and I can say, how am I gonna best get this guy's attention? You know, maybe I saw him at a chamber event, or maybe I saw him at a national event, or a OSBO group, or something of that sort. Maybe he was in one of my classes, so I can use some of this stuff. So I have all sorts of different ways, because I got all this stuff in my profile. I don't know, I'm a firefighter, maybe he's got an uncle that was a firefighter, who knows? So you've got choices, okay? So typically what I'll probably use is my GRN, my Global Recruiters thing, so Managing Partner of Global Recruiters Huntsville. And now they got this default message again, please don't hit the send button. You want to show the guy a little bit of love. Okay? You want to say something that gets attention. It doesn't have to be all serious, folks. I got a message that I send to people that says something like, hey, James, I saw your profile, or my recruiter partner sitting next to me saw your profile, and I would please like for you to connect with her so she'll start nagging me, something like that. And you know, so it doesn't have to be serious all the time. So, you know what? We'll send this message. Now, how many people think he'll connect with me?
Never check.
He will probably connect. I used to do these classes at lunch, and I would do this very first. I said, I'm going to show you this, and I'd do something silly like this, and I said, I bet the class says, I bet you all, if I don't get a connection by the time the hour and a half's up, I will buy everybody lunch. You know what? I never bought lunch, because people will connect with you and just show a little interest in them, okay? And it's amazing how simple it can be. This guy, I can almost guarantee you will connect with me, and he'll laugh, and he'll say, hey, what about this LinkedIn class? He says, I know my profile's blank, or my profile sucks, or whatever. People will connect with you if you show a little humanity, okay? So share the love with them. Tell them why you want to be connected, all right? And then it shows you this list of people that you may know, because it says, well, let's go look at the other people. Speaking of that, when you mouse over a profile, you also get this who's viewed your profile. This is kind of cool for you to go in and look at your profile and see who's looked at your profile. Because you can see lots of different things about it. See different people that have tried to connect with you. Who is this woman looking at my profile?
She has a
Okay, so this is kind of cool because you can see people that have looked at you, looked at your profile. Sometimes I come down through because I'm a recruiter, and I'll see people that are doing something like I connected with this guy. I noticed he looked at my profile, and so I reached out to him and said, hey, Tom, or hey, Trip. I said, you know, I see you're an electrical engineer, and you were looking at my profile. That's really great because we've got an electrical engineering job I want to talk to you about. And so we sent him some information about the job, and we're talking to him about maybe taking the job that we've got. So this is a great source for you to go and look and see who's viewed your profile. Particularly if you're looking for a job, wouldn't it be a great idea to see some company that's looked at your profile? So that's kind of cool out there. Now, there are several things you'll notice about this. First of all, we are trying to get this eliminated. This is called an anonymous viewer. And if you want to be anonymous, you shouldn't be on LinkedIn. Okay, this is a social network. I'm in a couple of advisory committees for LinkedIn. We're trying to get them to eliminate the ability to be anonymous. But that's the anonymous view. Then you have a full view where you've got people's information, pictures, and that sort of thing. And then you've got the skeleton view, that salesperson at LinkedIn, or someone in the defense and space industry. Okay, we probably won't get that eliminated, but we're really working really hard to get this LinkedIn number taken out of there. But anyway, that's really important for you to go in there periodically and look and see how you who's looked at your profile. So that's good information.
Just out of curiosity, what, can you click on how you rank? I want to see what you rank in search.
I mean, it's always kind of dangerous. I'm 25 out of 96. I've been as high as 10. Now, it looks at my peers, okay, so it's looking at other recruiters. And I was telling Sarah Lynn before class that because I've shifted over to this, I've got this Go to Recruiter button up here. That's the $1,000 a month service I use. So I don't use this profile very much. And it dramatically affected my screenshots. It dramatically affected my SEO on here because it dramatically limited my activity there, so that's changed a lot. But that's what that's for. Now, when you do that, let me go back over here to the advanced search for a minute, because I want to make sure this is clear to you. So when you type in whatever you're looking for, let's say you're looking for, let me do what we did before. This keyboard doesn't type well without my glasses. And because it's going to be a big list, we'll narrow it. Okay, so what this list did, we're looking for a quality engineer recruiter in the Huntsville area. So those are the keywords we were looking for in this zip code. So that's what it searches for. Then the people that are put up here on this list are put in order of their page rank. Okay, so I was almost always first on this page till we shifted over to the other program. But so now I'm not even on the first page, which is terrible. But that's how LinkedIn works. So whatever people search for pulls your list together, and then this bucket is designed by how much your activity is on LinkedIn. So that's why you want to be active on here. Why you want to post stuff like every day. You want to do upgrades as quickly and often as you can to build your page rank so that you come up on there. Because just like in a Google search, you want to be on page 1 if you can. You want to be on page 2 if you have to be. You don't want to be on page 3 or beyond because, as you know, when you go to Google search, you don't go past page 3. So, because we all want instant gratification. When people are looking for people, they do the same thing. So, define your profile so that you've got the exact keywords you want. So when they type in these keywords up here, you're going to be on that page. Be active in LinkedIn, boost your page rank, so that when they do those keywords, you come up high on your page rank. Now, a couple other things that are really important. One of the things that LinkedIn added, I want to mention this to you guys because sometimes you get people that you run across that are just not nice people. Okay, I talked to you earlier about their stalkers out there. Maybe I have an old girlfriend or ex-wife that I don't want to be able to see my profile anymore. Well, LinkedIn has made it real easy for you to block them now. So all you do is you come over to the profile. So I got Brian here, and Brian's a recruiter, and I don't want him seeing any of my stuff. So I come over here, and I come down here, and you see, so it says block or report. So I click on block, and it opens up this panel, and I click on block here, and I click on continue. And it says, are you sure you want to block Brian? Because if you do, you won't be able to see each other's profiles, you won't be able to mess each other. If you're connected, you won't see the connections anymore or remove any endorsements. You'll both stop seeing suggestions. But don't worry, Brian won't be notified, okay? So my ex-wife won't know that I just knocked her out. So I click on agree, and Brian and I cease to exist, okay? So if you got people bothering you, and this is new, didn't used to have this on there. This, in the last 6 months they've added this. So if you got people bothering you, used to you just had to unclick them as a direct connection, but they can still see your profile and they can still send you messages, stuff like this. Now, Brian is gone, okay? So Brian will never be able to see my stuff until I turn him back on. So if my ex-wife and I got back together, I could go in and unblock her, okay? And then we'd be able to see each other's profile again. So it's not like You can never change it, but I have to change it, okay? So that's a really cool thing they've just recently added. Okay, so, a couple of other things. Connections, there are all your connections. Now, connections, you can do a similar thing. You can go and you can get rid of somebody. So, there's a search window here. You can go and find somebody, and you come down here and you click on the More button, and same thing, come down here and remove connections. So if I click on that, now it's going to remove his connection. Again, he won't get notified, he just won't be on there anymore. So if I click this to remove him, he'd be gone. So Michael comes back in tomorrow and he looks in his, he gets ready to send me a message and sees that we're not connected again. He sends me a message and said, "Hey Matt, what happened to our connection?" I was like, "Gosh, I don't know, something happened in the LinkedIn system, send me another request." I send another request, and then a week or two later I can go and turn them off again, and I don't have to be bothered with it. That's the way you used to have to get rid of people, but they can still see my profile and activity. But the other way with the block, that's completely gone now. So I'm not gonna take him out of here because he's one of my candidates. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk with you about is Jobs tab. Okay, so you mouse over this Job tabs and you click on Jobs. Okay, and it opens up this nice screen. So who's looking for a job? What are you looking for?
Accounting job.
Accountant. Well, there are 96,500 accounting jobs on LinkedIn. So there you go. Now, what you're always going to want to do, you're going to want to narrow that down, obviously. So you want to find a narrow space. So again, you can simply type in a zip code. And so you're looking for accounting jobs in the 35801 area code. Why is that? That can't be. $155 jobs, okay? Now, here's something I want to tell you guys about. In Huntsville proper, there are a lot of companies up here that are in the industrial, or the military industrial complex, government contractors and things like that. A lot of jobs in Huntsville are fishing expeditions. They're gathering resumes to be able to submit for job assignments, for contracts and things like that. So there's a lot of fishing that goes on in the Huntsville area. LinkedIn is not the case, okay? These are real jobs. I pay $600 a month for a search. I have 2 searches. So I'm paying